The origins of Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism, often regarded as one of the oldest monotheistic religions, originated in ancient Persia around 1500 BCE. It was founded by the prophet Zoroaster, also known as Zarathustra, whose teachings brought forth a transformative spiritual doctrine born in a culture deeply rooted in polytheism. Zoroaster's revelation marked a pivotal shift toward a belief system centered on a singular, all-powerful deity. Zoroaster's early life is shrouded in mystery, though it is widely accepted that he lived in a pastoral community reliant on agriculture and animal husbandry. At the age of 30, Zoroaster experienced a divine vision that changed his life. He encountered Ahura Mazda, the supreme god of wisdom and righteousness, who revealed the tenets of a new faith. This encounter led Zoroaster to preach a message of spiritual reform, calling for the rejection of polytheistic worship and the embrace of a singular divine authority. The region where Zoroaster lived, likely in eastern Persia or the steppes of Central Asia, was culturally and linguistically linked to the Indo-Iranian traditions. Zoroaster's teaching challenged the status quo, particularly the rituals and power of the priestly class, known as the Magi. As a result, he faced resistance and persecution. However, his perseverance bore fruit when he gained the support of King Vasa, a powerful ruler who embraced Zoroastrianism and helped propagate its teachings across his kingdom. Central to Zoroastrianism is the concept of dualism, which portrays an eternal struggle between the forces of good and evil. Ahura Mazda, the embodiment of truth, wisdom and light, stands in opposition to Angram Menu, or Ahriman, the spirit of chaos, falsehood, and darkness. This dualistic framework is not merely a cosmic battle, but a deeply personal one, as each individual is tasked with choosing between good, Asha, and evil. Drew G. in their thoughts, words, and deeds, the ethical foundation of Zoroastrianism is encapsulated in the triad of good thoughts. Umata, good words, Hta, and good deeds, Vashta. These principles serve as a guide for leading a virtuous life and maintaining cosmic order. Unlike deterministic worldviews, Zoroastrianism emphasizes free will, asserting that individuals are active participants in the cosmic struggle, responsible for their choices and their consequences. The religion also places a profound emphasis on environmental stewardship. Fire, water, earth, and air are considered sacred elements, reflecting Ahura Mazda's creative power. Zoroastrians are encouraged to honor and protect these elements, recognizing their role in sustaining life and fostering harmony. Another key belief is the concept of the Fravashi, or the divine essence. Within every individual, the Fravashi acts as a guiding spirit, helping adherents align their lives with the principles of Asha. This spiritual dimension underscores the religion's focus on personal growth and self-realization. The Ayasta, the primary scripture of Zoroastrianism, is a collection of hymns, prayers, and liturgical texts. The oldest and most revered portion is the Gas, a series of hymns attributed to Zoroaster himself, written in an ancient dialect of Ayastan. The Gathas offer profound insights into Zoro's spiritual vision and ethical teachings. Other sections of the Vesta include the Yasna, the Vendidad, and the Visad, each serving specific liturgical and ritual purposes. Fire is a central symbol in Zoroastrian worship, representing purity, divine presence, and the light of wisdom. Fire temples known as Atash beams, or Ayar house sacred flames, that are meticulously tended by priests. These flames are categorized into different grades based on their ritual significance. The continuous maintenance of these fires underscores their spiritual importance and symbolizes the eternal nature of Ahura Mazda. Zoroastrian rituals are deeply intertwined with the natural world. Ceremonies often involve offerings of milk incense, and sacred plants, reflecting the religion's reverence for creation. Seasonal festivals, such as Norris, the Persian New Year, and Marian, a harvest festival, celebrate the cycles of nature and humanity's interconnectedness with the environment. The role of priests or mobids is crucial. In Zoroastrianism, they are responsible for performing rituals, reciting prayers, and preserving the religious traditions. Training to become a mobid involves years of study, emphasizing both spiritual knowledge and practical expertise. Zoroastrianism flourished during the Achaemenid Empire, 550–330 BCE, particularly under the reigns of Cyrus, the great Darius III, and Xerxes. These rulers adopted Zoroastrian principles to govern their vast empire, promoting justice, tolerance, and moral leadership. The inscriptions at Pepilis and Biston reflect the integration of Zoroastrian ideals into imperial policy. Emphasizing the divine mandate to rule with righteousness, the religion's influence extended beyond Persia, shaping the cultural and philosophical landscapes of neighboring regions. Following Alexander the Great's conquest of Persia, Zoroastrianism interacted with Greek thought, contributing to the syncretism of ideas in the ancient world. Under the Sasanian Empire, 224,651 CE, Zoroastrianism became the state religion, experiencing a renaissance in theology, literature, and art. Scholars compiled and systematized religious texts, while architectural achievements, such as the construction of grand fire temples, symbolize the religion's prominence. However, the Islamic conquests in the 7th century marked a turning point as Zoroastrianism gradually gave way to Islam in Persia. Despite these challenges, Zoroastrianism endured. Communities such as the Parsis in India, who migrated to avoid persecution, preserved their religious traditions and contributed to their host societies. The Zoroastrians in Iran, known as the Gabars, continued to practice their faith, discreetly maintaining their cultural identity. Amidst adversity, the philosophical and theological contributions of Zoroastrianism have had a lasting impact on the world's religious and cultural history. Its emphasis on monotheism, the duality of good and evil, and the concept of a final judgment influenced the development of Judaism. Christianity and Islam elements, such as angelology, eschatology, and the messianic figure, can be traced to Zoroastrian doctrines. Zoroastrianism also left its mark on Western thought and literature. Friedrich Nietzsche. Thus spoke Zarathustra reinterpreted Zoroaster as a metaphorical figure exploring themes of morality, human potential, and the revaluation of values. The religion's ethical focus and ecological sensibilities resonate with contemporary movements advocating sustainability and social responsibility in the 21st century. Zoroastrianism faces significant challenges, including declining populations, generational divides, and cultural assimilation. Efforts to address these issues include initiatives to document and digitize sacred texts, promote intergenerational dialogue, and adapt rituals to modern lifestyles. Organizations such as the World Zoroastrian Organization and the Federation of Zoroastrian Associations of North America play a pivotal role in fostering community engagement and raising awareness about Zoroastrian heritage. Educational programs, cultural festivals, and social media campaigns among younger generations. The diaspora communities, particularly in India, North America, and Europe, serve as hubs of Zoroastrian activity, balancing tradition with contemporary realities by embracing innovation while staying rooted in their spiritual principles. These communities exemplify the resilience of Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism legacy is a testament to its profound insights into the human condition and its enduring quest for truth and righteousness. Its teachings continue to inspire individuals and communities, offering a framework for ethical living and spiritual growth by cherishing their past and envisioning a hopeful future. Zoroastrians worldwide uphold the timeless values of their ancient faith, ensuring its continued relevance in a rapidly changing world. Mesopotamia firsts, the cradle of civilization. Mesopotamia, known as the cradle of civilization, is a region of immense historic IAL significance, situated between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This fertile land, which includes modern-day Iraq and parts of Syria, Turkey, and Iran, was the site of many firsts in human history. Among these are the first cities, writing systems, and legal codes, each of which laid the groundwork for the development of complex societies. The earlier cities in Mesopotamia began to emerge around 4000 BCE, with Uruk standing out as a pioneering example. Often considered the world's first true city, Uruk was home to tens of thousands of people at its peak and featured advanced infrastructure, including walls, canals, and ziggurats. Stepped temple complexes dedicated to the gods, these cities were not just population centers, but hubs of innovation where governance, religion, and commerce intersected. Urbanization in Mesopotamia was driven by agricultural surpluses made possible by irrigation systems. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers provided water for crops, allowing settlements to sustain large populations. In turn, these burgeoning cities became centers of trade, with merchants exchanging goods such as textiles, grains, and metals with distant regions. The concept of organized labor and administrative oversight likely originated here, as managing resources and trade required coordination and planning. Writing is one of Mesopotamia's most transformative contributions to humanity. Around 3100 BC, the Sumerians developed cuneiform, a script initially used for record-keeping. Early cuneiform inscriptions were pictographic, with symbols representing objects or quantities. Over time, these symbols evolved into a more abstract and versatile system capable of conveying complex ideas. Cuneiform was inscribed on clay tablets using a stylus, and thousands of these tablets have been unearthed, providing a window into Mesopotamian life. These texts encompass a wide range of topics, including administrative records, religious hymns, legal documents, and literature. The Epic of Gilgamesh, an enduring masterpiece of world literature, was composed in cuneiform and reflects the cultural and philosophical depth of Mesopotamia. Writing was not merely a tool for communication, but also a means of control and organization. It enabled the standardization of weights and measures, the codification of laws, and the preservation of knowledge across generations. The invention of writing also fostered education and the rise of scribal schools, where young scholars learned to master the intricacies of cuneiform. The development of structured legal codes in Mesopotamia marks another significant milestone. The city-states of Mesopotamia, such as Lash and Babylon, the challenge of governing diverse and growing populations. To address this, rulers established comprehensive legal systems to maintain order and fairness. The Code of Hammurabi, created around 1754 BCE by the Babylonian king Hammurabi, is one of the most renowned examples inscribed on a basalt stele. The code comprises 282 laws covering various aspects of life, including trade, property rights, marriage, and criminal justice. The principle of lex talionis, an eye for an eye, is a prominent feature emphasizing proportional justice. The stele depiction of Hammurabi receiving the laws from Shamash the sun. God underscores the divine legitimacy of these laws. Earlier legal codes, such as the laws of Anamu, circa 2100 BCE, and the Lipit Isar Code, reveal a long tradition of legislative innovation in Mesopotamia. These laws were pragmatic and addressed issues like theft, labor disputes, and family relations. They also provided mechanisms for resolving conflicts, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of governance. Mesopotamian society was deeply curious about the natural world, leading to significant advances in science and technology. Mathematics played a crucial role in their achievements. Using a sexagesimal base 60 number system, the Mesopotamians developed concepts that remain relevant today, such as the 60-minute hour and the 360-degree circle. Their mathematical knowledge extended to geometry, algebra, and practical applications in architecture and engineering. Mesopotamian astronomers meticulously observed the skies, recording celestial movements and identifying constellations. These observations informed the creation of calendars, which were essential for agriculture and religious rituals. The Mesopotamians divided the year into 12 months based on lunar cycles and tracked planetary movements, laying the groundwork for future astronomical studies. In technology, Mesopotamians demonstrated remarkable ingenuity. They constructed extensive irrigation networks to manage water res ors and developed tools and techniques for farming, such as the plow. Their innovations in metallurgy included the use of bronze, a combination of copper and tin for weapons and tools. Additionally, they crafted durable structures using mud bricks and mastered the art of pottery and textile production. Religion was central to Mesopotamian life, shaping their worldview and inspiring many of their achievements. The Mesopotamian pantheon consisted of gods associated with natural elements, celestial bodies, and human endeavors. Anu, the god of the sky, Enlil, the god of wind and storms, and Inanna, the goddess of love and war, were among the most prominent deities. Ziggurats, towering temple complexes, served as the focal points of religious activity. These structures symbolize the connection between the heavens and the earth, with priests acting as intermediaries between the gods and the people. Religious rituals often involved offerings, prayers, and festivals, reinforcing communal bonds and a shared sense of purpose. Cultural expression flourished in Mesopotamia, as evidenced by their art, literature, and music. Sculptures, reliefs, and cylinder seals depicted scenes of mythology, daily life, and royal accomplishments. Literature, including myths, hymns, and epics, conveyed the values and beliefs of Mesopotamian society. Music played a role in both religious ceremonies and entertainment, with instruments like harps, lyres, and drums enhancing the vibrancy of cultural life. The achievements of Mesopotamia set the stage for the development of subsequent civilizations. Writing systems inspired by cuneiform, such as the Elmite and Hittite scripts, spread across the region, facilitating cultural exchange. Legal principles from Mesopotamia influenced the laws of neighboring societies, including the Hebrews and later Greco-Roman traditions. The scientific and mathematical knowledge of Mesopotamia found echoes in the works of ancient Greek and Indian scholars. Their astronomical observations contributed to the evolution of astrology and the understanding of planetary movements. The architectural and engineering techniques pioneered in Mesopotamia informed the construction of structures in later cultures. Trade routes, originating in Mesopotamia, extended as far as the Indus Valley in Egypt, creating a network of economic and cultural interaction. This interconnectedness ensured that Mesopotamia innovations were not confined to its borders, but became integral to the broader narrative of human history. Although the civilizations of Mesopotamia eventually declined due to invasions, environmental challenges, and political changes, their legacy endures. The concepts of urban planning, writing, legal governance, and scientific inquiry continue to shape modern society. By studying Mesopotamia, we gain insights into the origins of human civilization and the universal drive for progress and understanding. Mesopotamia's story is a testament to humanity's capacity for innovation, adaptation, and resilience. Its contributions remind us of the profound connections between the past and present, offering lessons that remain relevant in our ever-evolving world. Ancient Egypt's mummies, vessels for the afterlife. Mummification stands as one of the most enduring symbols of ancient Egyptian civilization. Deeply rooted in their spiritual and religious beliefs. Egyptians believed that the soul comprised of the Kai life force, Ba personality and Ak immortal spirit, required a preserved physical body to transition successfully into the afterlife. The body was seen as the vessel through which the soul could reunite and thrive eternally in the divine realm. This conviction was the cornerstone of the elaborate practice of mummification. The origins of mummification date back to prehistoric times when bodies buried in the arid sands of the desert were naturally preserved over centuries. This natural process inspired Egyptians to develop sophisticated artificial methods, ensuring the body's integrity regardless of burial conditions. By the time of the Old Kingdom, circa 2686 BCE, mummification had evolved into a complex and deeply ritualistic practice. This practice was not just about preserving the body, but also about enabling the deceased to successfully navigate the challenges of the afterlife. According to Egyptian belief, the soul's journeying included encounters with divine judgment, protective deities, and the treacherous paths of the underworld. A well-preserved body symbolized and the promise of eternal life. The art of mummification was both a spiritual and scientific endeavor, refined over thousands of years, reserved primarily for pharaoh's nobles, and the wealthy. Mummification was a lengthy and costly process, often taking up to 70 days to complete. However, simp forms were available to less affluent Egyptians. The first step was the purification of the body, which included washing it with palm wine and Nile water emulsions, then removed the internal organs, as these were susceptible to decay. The liver, stomach, intestines, and lungs were extracted and preserved in canopic jars, each jar associated with one of the four sons of Horus, for divine protection. The brain, considered unnecessary for the afterlife, was removed through the nostrils using specialized tools. In contrast, the heart, viewed as the seat of intelligence and emotion, was either left in place or replaced with a scarab amulet. Next, the body was desiccated using natron, a natural salt that absorbed moisture and halted decomposition. After 40 days, the natron was removed and the body was treated with oils, resins, and perfumes to restore flexibility and scent. Finally, the body was wrapped in layers of linen with protective amulets placed between the layers to safeguard the deceased in their journey to the afterlife. The wrapped mummy was then placed in a coffin, or series of nested coffins, often richly decorated with prayers and imagery of gods beyond the physical steps. The process involved numerous rituals performed by priests who invoked spells and prayers to ensure the deceased's safe passage. These rituals included the opening of the mouth ceremony, intended to restore the senses of the mummy for use in the afterlife. Mummification was not limited to humans. Animals also underwent this sacred process. Animals held immense religious and symbolic significance in ancient Egyptian culture, often representing deities or serving as offerings to the gods. The mummification of animals reflected the Egyptians' reverence for these creatures and their belief in their role in the spiritual realm. Cats, associated with the goddess Bastet, were among the most commonly mummified animals. They symbolized protection, fertility, and domestic harmony. Temples dedicated to Bastet often contained vast quantities of mummified cats offered by worshippers seeking divine favor. Crocodiles were mummified as representations of the god Sobek, associated with fertility, military prowess, and the Nile's life-giving waters. In regions like the Fum, where Sosis worship was prominent, embalmed crocodiles were buried in large numbers, ranging from hatchlings to fully grown adults. Other animals, such as ibises, hawks, bulls, baboons, and fish, were also mummified. These animals either represented specific deities or were interred as votive offerings. Some pets beloved by their owners were mummified to accompany them into the afterlife, ensuring their bond endured internally. Animal mummification also extended to mass burials. Archaeological evidence reveals large-scale animal necropolises, where thousands of mummified creatures were interred. These sites highlight the scale and complexity of animal worship. In ancient Egypt, mummification was part of a larger pharaoh tradition that included tomb construction, grave goods, and elaborate ceremonies. Tombs ranged from simple pits in the desert to grandiose pit pyramids and rock-cut structures. The purpose of these tombs was to protect the mummy and its treasures while facilitating the soul's journey to the afterlife. The interiors of tombs were adorned with paintings, carvings, and texts from the Book of the Dead, a collection of spells and instructions designed to help the deceased navigate the trials of the afterlife scenes, depicted offerings, rituals, and the judgment of the soul by Osiris, the god of the dead. The weighing of the heart ceremony, in which the heart was measured against the feather of Maya truth, determined whether the deceased would enter the eternal paradise or face destruction grave. Goods ranging from jewelry and tools to food and shoppy figurines, small statues intended to serve the deceased in the afterlife, were carefully chosen to reflect the deceased's status and needs. These items ensured the continuity of life's comforts in the next world beyond material goods. Tombs often included in descriptions and carvings that highlighted the deceased's achievements, family lineage, and devotion to the gods. These elements served as both a tribute to the individual's life and a means of securing divine favor in the afterlife. The decline of mummification practices coincided with the rise of Christianity and changes in Egyptian culture under Roman rule. However, the rediscovery of mummies in modern times has provided invaluable insights into ancient Egyptian society, religion, and technology. Explorers and archaeologists, beginning in the 18th and 19th centuries, unearthed tombs in regions such as the Valley of the Kings. These discoveries, including the world, and advanced our understanding of ancient embalming techniques and beliefs. Scientific advancements such as CT scans and DNA analysis have revealed details about the health, diet, and lineage of mummified individuals, enriching our knowledge of their lives. Studies of mummified animals have also shed light on Egyptian religious practices, breeding methods, and even ecological conditions of the time. For instance, the examination of mummified ibis has revealed evidence of large-scale farming to meet the demand for sacrificial offerings. Mummies have become cultural symbols of ancient Egypt, capturing the imagination of people worldwide. They feature prominently in art, literature, and popular media, often depicted as mysterious and otherworldly. Beyond their cultural significance, mummies serve as historical records, preserving the achievements and values of a civilization that flourished thousands of years ago. They remind us of humanity's enduring quest to understand life, death, and the possibility of an existence beyond the practice of mummification. Both human and animal underscores the Egyptians' profound respect for the interconnectedness of life and the divine, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire awe and curiosity. As both artifacts and symbols, mummies challenge us to consider our own beliefs about mortality in the afterlife, connecting us to a civilization that sought to bridge the gap between the temporal and the eternal. Machu Picchu. The timeless Incan city, Machu Picchu, often referred to as the lost city of the Incas, is a marvel of engineering and culture, representing the height of Incan civilization during the 15th century, constructed under the rule of Pachacuti, Inca Yanqui, the ninth Sapa Inca. It symbolized a flourishing empire that spanned much of western South America. The Inca Empire, or Tawantinsuyu, was a highly organized state that excelled in agriculture, architecture, and administration. And Machu Picchu epitomized its achievements during Pachacuti reign. The Inca Empire expanded rapidly, incorporating diverse cultures and landscapes. This period of consolidation and prosperity provided the resources and labor force necessary to build monumental projects like Machu Picchu, The city's construction, dated to around 1450, reflects a blend of strategic planning and spiritual intent. It emerged as a royalist state, possibly serving as a retreat for the emperor and his court, while also functioning as a center for ceremonial activities nestled in the Andes Mountains. At an altitude of approximately 2,430 meters, 7,970 feet, Machu Picchu's location was both strategic and symbolic. The site is perched on a ridge between the peaks of Machu Picchu and Hina Picchu, overlooking the Urubamba River Valley. Its remote and elevated position provided natural defenses against potential invaders and reinforced the site's sanctity. The Incas' choice of location demonstrates their profound understanding of geography and its influence on both practical and spiritual life. The surrounding landscape, a blend of towering peaks, lush forests, and flowing rivers, was imbued with religious significance. Mountains, or apus, were considered sacred guardians, and the Urubamba River was viewed as a connection to the underworld. Machu Picchu's position within this sacred geography underscored its role as a bridge between the physical and divine realms. Machu Picchu showcases the Incas' architectural ingenuity, blending functionality with aesthetic and spiritual considerations. The site is divided into urban and agricultural sectors, with further subdivisions for religious, residential, and administrative purposes. This organization reflects the Incas' meticulous approach to city planning. The urban sector contains many of Machu Picchu's iconic structures, including the Temple of the Sun, the Intihuatana Stone, and the Room of the Three Windows. These buildings exhibit the in-core mastery of stone. Masonry, particularly their use of polished dry stone construction, or ashlar stones, were meticulously cut and fitted together, without mortar, creating structures capable of withstanding earthquakes. A frequent occurrence in the region, the Intihuatana stone, often called the hitching post of the sun, is a prime example of the Incas' astronomical knowledge. This carved granite stone functioned as a solar clock, aligning with key celestial events, such as solstices and equinoxes. Its precise alignment underscores the integration of astronomy into Incan spirituality and governance. The agricultural sector features an extensive system of terraces carved into the mountainside. These terraces served multiple purposes. They prevented soil erosion, maximized arable land in the steep terrain, and maintained a stable microclimate for growing crops. The in-core cultivated staples like maize, potatoes, and quinoa, ensuring the city's self-sufficiency. Irrigation channels and drainage systems exemplified the Incas' engineering prowess. These systems managed water efficiently, supply for agriculture and daily use. The integration of these features reflects the Incas' ability to harmonize human needs with the natural environment. The purpose of Machu Picchu remains a topic of scholarly exploration, but most evidence points to its multifaceted role as a royal estate. It likely served as a retreat for Pachacuti and his entourage, offering a rest from the political and military demands of Cusco, the Inca capital. The luxurious nature of the site, evident in its finely crafted stonework and ceremonial structures, supports this theory. Religious significance permeates Machu Picchu's design. Temples, altars, and sacred stones align with celestial phenomena, reflecting the Inca's belief in the interconnectedness of the cosmos. The Temple of the Sun, for instance, features a window that captures the first rays of the sun during the winter solstice, symbolizing the rebirth of Inti, the sun. God Machu Picchu may also have functioned as a pilgrimage site. Its location in a sacred landscape and its alignment with religious practices suggest it was a place of spiritual renewal and connection for the Inca elite. Visiting Machu Picchu would have been both a political and spiritual act, reaffirming their divine authority. Machu was abandoned in the mid-6th century, likely due to the Spanish conquest and the subsequent collapse of the Inca Empire. While the site escaped destruction by the conquistadors, it was gradually reclaimed by nature hidden beneath dense vegetation. For centuries, local indigenous communities maintained knowledge of the site, but it remained largely unknown to the outside world. The rediscovery of Machu Picchu in 1911 by American historian Ham Bingham brought it to international prominence. Guided by local farmers, Bingham's expedition revealed the site's architectural and cultural significance. His work, though controversial due to the removal of artifacts, sparked widespread interest in Incan history and archaeology. Machu Picchu's popularity as a tourist destination poses significant challenges to its preservation. Millions of visitors annually place stress on the site's fragile structures, and environment efforts to manage tourism include limiting daily visitor numbers, implementing timed entry tickets, and establishing designated pathways to reduce wear on the ruins. The Peruvian government, in collaboration with international organizations like UNESCO, has invested in conservation projects to protect Machu Picchu's cultural and ecological integrity. These initiatives aim to balance public access with the need for sustainable preservation. Machu Picchu's legacy is multifaceted as a masterpiece of Incan engineering and culture. It represents the resilience and ingenuity of a civilization that thrived in harmony with its environment for descendants of the Inca. The site is a source of cultural pride and identity, linking them to their ancestral heritage. Beyond its historical and cultural significance, Machu Picchu inspires contemporary discussions about sustainability, resilience, and the relationship between humanity and nature. Its enduring presence invites reflection on the achievements of the past and the responsibilities of the present, ensuring that this timeless city continues to captivate and educate future generations. Greek fire, the Byzantine Empire's legendary weapon. Greek fire, a weapon shrouded in mystery, played a pivotal role in the military history of the Byzantine Empire, first recorded in the 7th century CE. This incur weapon was a game-changer in naval and siege warfare, granting the Byzantines a strategic advantage over their enemies. Its invention is attributed to a Greek-speaking Syrian engineer named Kynos of Heliopolis, who reportedly fled to the Byzantine court during the reign of Emperor Constantine IV of 6,686–85 CE. The creation of Greek fire occurred during a period of heightened conflict. The Byzantine Empire faced formidable threats, particularly from the advancing Arab fleets and armies. The weapon was developed as a response to these existential dangers, giving the Byzantines an unparalleled tool for defending their territories and maintaining control over key maritime routes. The exact formula for Greek fire has been lost to history, adding to its legendary state. Loose, however, historical accounts and modern hypotheses suggest that it was a highly flammable liquid, possibly composed of ingredients such as naphtha, a type of petroleum, quicklime sulfur, and resin. What set Greek fire apart was not only its combustibility, but also its ability to continue burning on water, a property that made it particularly effective in naval warfare. The delivery mechanism of Greek fire was as innovative as the substance itself. Byzantine engineers developed siphon-like devices mounted on ships to spray the liquid fire at enemy vessels. These siphons, often described as flamethrowers, used pressurized air or pumps to project the incendiary mixture with deadly precision. Handheld versions, akin to during sieges, the psychological impact of Greek fire cannot be overstated. Its unquenchable flames, which reportedly adhered to surfaces and water alike, struck terror into the hearts of the Byzantine enemies. The weapon's reputation was so fearsome that it often deterred attacks before battles even began. Greek fire was primarily deployed in naval engagements, where it became the Byzantine Navy's signature weapon. One of its most notable uses was during the Arab sieges of Constantinople in the late 7th and early 8th centuries. In these conflicts, Greek fire played a decisive role in repelling enemy fleets and safeguarding the city. The effectiveness of Greek fire stemmed from its ability to counteract the superior numbers of enemy forces. Byzantine ships equipped with siphons could unleash devastating streams of fire that engulfed enemy vessels, creating chaos and demoralizing opposing crews. The weapon's incendiary properties also made it nearly impossible to extinguish, with water forcing enemies to retreat or face total annihilation. The use of Greek fire was not limited to large-scale battles. Smaller naval skirmishes and defensive operations also benefited from the weapon's versatility. Its deployment demonstrated the Byzantine Empire's mastery of technological innovation and strategic warfare. The Byzantine Empire closely guarded the secret of Greek fire's composition and deployment. Recognizing its strategic value, knowledge of the weapon's production was restricted to a select group of engineers and officials, often referred to as the fur makers. This secrecy ensured that Greek fire remained a uniquely Byzantine asset, preventing its replication by enemies or allies. Historical records suggest that even within the Byzantine Empire, access to the formula was limited. Production facilities were likely centralized and heavily monitored, and the components were transported under strict security. This cloak of secrecy contributed to the mystique of Greek fire and its enduring legacy as one of history's great unsolved mysteries. The use of Greek fire declined during the later centuries of the Byzantine Empire, coinciding with shifts in military tactics and technology. By the time of the Fourth Crusade, in 1244, Greek fire had largely fallen out of use, though references to similar incendiary weapons continued to appear in historical accounts. The exact reasons for the loss of Greek fire's formula remain unclear. Political instability, the destruction of records, and the deaths of those entrusted with its knowledge likely contributed to its disappearance. As the Byzantine Empire faced repeated invasions and internal conflicts, the infrastructure and expertise necessary to produce Greek fire may have been irretrievably lost. The mystery surrounding Greek fire has fascinated historians, scientists, and military enthusiasts for centuries. Modern attempts to recreate the weapon have yielded intriguing results, but no definitive formula has been established. Experiments suggest that the weapon's unique properties, such as burning on water, were achievable using combinations of petroleum derivatives, quicklime, and other flammable substances. Greek fire's legacy extends. Beyond its technical aspects, it represents a pinnacle of Byzantine ingenuity and serves as a testament to the empire's ability to innovate in the face of adversity. The weapon's psychological impact, strategic significance, and enduring mystique continue to capture the imagination of scholars and the public alike in modern culture. Greek fire has inspired countless works of fiction, from historical novels to fantasy epics. It is often depicted as a symbol of technological prowess, and the fine line between innovation and destruction as a historical artifact. Greek fire reminds us of the complexities of warfare and the enduring importance of technological advancements in shaping the course of history. Greek fire remains one of the most enigmatic and influential weapons of the ancient world. Its development and use by the Byzantine Empire underscore the importance of innovation in maintaining power and defending sovereignty, while its exact composition may never be uncovered. The legend of Greek fire endures as a symbol of human ingenuity and the enduring mysteries of history. Roman aqueducts, masterpieces of ancient engineering. Roman aqueducts stand as one of the greatest achievements of ancient engineering, symbolizing the ingenuity and practicality of Roman civilization, developed to meet the growing needs of a rapidly expanding empire. These aqueducts transported water over vast distances, supplying cities, towns, and rural areas with the lifeblood of daily life. The earliest Roman aqueduct, the Aqua Appia, was constructed in 312 BCE under the supervision of Appius Claudius Cicus, marking the beginning of a system that would grow to encompass hundreds of miles. The concept of water transport was not unique to Rome. Earlier civilizations, such as the Greeks, Persians, and Assyrians, for channeling water. However, the Romans elevated aqueduct construction to an unparalleled level of sophistication, integrating practicality with architectural grandeur. Roman aqueducts were feats of engineering precision, combining advanced materials, mathematical knowledge, and innovative design principles. These structures relied on a gradual gradient to ensure the smooth flow of water from its source to its destination. Surveyors used tools like the Korob baits, a type of leveling device, and the gromer to calculate the precise angles needed for the aqueducts to function. Effectively, the aqueducts were constructed with various components that worked seamlessly together to achieve their purpose. Captation structures were built at natural springs or rivers to capture clean water, which was then funneled into underground conduits. These tunnels were often the first leg of the aqueduct, designed to minimize exposure and protect the water supply from contamination. In areas where the terrain was uneven, the Romans constructed arcades and bridges. These rows of arches elevated the channels to maintain the necessary gradient, ensuring the steady flow of water. Iconic examples of such structures include the Pont du Var in France and the Aqueduct of Sovia in Spain. Distribution tanks, known as castella, were built within cities to manage water flow and distributed to fountains, baths, and households. The materials used in aqueduct construction were equally remarkable. Roman concrete, or opus centium, played a crucial role in creating durable structures capable of withstanding the test of time. Stone and lead-lined channels were also used, demonstrating the meticulous craftsmanship that went into every aspect of these projects. The Roman aqueduct system was unparalleled in its scale and reach. By the height of the empire, Rome itself was supplied by 11 aqueducts, delivering an estimated 300 million gallons of water daily. These aqueducts, including the Aqua Claudia and Aqua Maria, stretched for miles, drawing water from distant sources and sustaining the city's population of over 1 million people. Aqueducts extended far beyond the capital, serving provincial cities such as Nemes, Carthage, and Antioch. In some regions, aqueducts span hundreds of miles, traversing mountains, valleys, and plains. The Anio Noah's, one of Rome's longest aqueducts, was over 87 kilometers in length, highlighting the empire's ability to coordinate large-scale infrastructure projects. Aqueducts were not merely conduits for transporting water. They were integral to the social and cultural fabric of Roman life. The water supplied by aqueducts was used for a variety of purposes, including public baths, ornamental fountains, irrigation, and industrial processes. Bathing was a cornerstone of Roman culture, with grand bathhouses like the Baths of Cacalla and the Baths of Diocletian relying on aqueducts to fill their pools and heating systems. Ornamental fountains adorned public spaces, showcasing the wealth and engineering prowess of Roman cities in rural areas. Aqueducts supported agriculture by channeling water to fields and vineyards. Mills, dyeing facilities, and other industries benefited from the consistent water supply provided by aqueducts. Water was distributed through an intricate network of lead and clay pipes, with priority given to public facilities. And the homes of the elite laws regulated access to water, ensuring its equitable distribution and preventing misuse. The construction of aqueducts was only the beginning. Maintaining them was an equally monumental task. Teams of workers, known as aquar, were employed to inspect and repair aqueducts, removing debris, patching leaks, and ensuring the channels remained clear. Officials called curators aquarum oversaw the system, managing its operation and resolving disputes over water rights. The Romans' commitment to maintaining their aqueducts is evident in the writings of engineers like Frontinus, who served as the curator aquarum during the 1st century. CE is Trea de Aeas Uris. Romae, on the water supply of Rome, provides invaluable insights into the technical and administrative aspects of aqueduct management. With the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century CE, the maintenance of many aqueducts ceased, leading to their gradual decay. In some cases, invading forces deliberately destroyed aqueducts to Roman cities. However, in the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as Byzantium, aqueduct systems continued to function, reflecting their enduring utility. Despite their decline, Roman aqueducts left a lasting legacy. They inspired subsequent civilizations, from the Islamic caliphates to Renaissance Europe, to pursue ambitious water management projects. Many aqueducts remain standing today, serving as a testament to Roman engineering prowess and offering valuable lessons in sustainability and resource management. Some Roman aqueducts continue to function, providing water to modern communities. The Aqua Virgo, built in 19 BCE, still supplies water to like Rome's the Puger and the Aqueduct of Sovia have become UNESCO World Heritage Sites, attracting millions of visitors annually. The principles underlying Roman aqueducts, efficiency, durability, and adaptability, remain relevant today. Modern water management systems often draw inspiration from these ancient structures, highlighting their enduring impact on engineering and urban planning. Roman aqueducts exemplify the ingenuity and ambition of an empire that sought to harness nature for the betterment of its people. Their construction required a blend of technical expertise, administrative oversight, and creative problem-solving, resulting in structures that not only met practical needs, but also elevated the quality of life for millions as enduring symbols of Roman innovation. Aqueducts remind us of the importance of infrastructure in shaping civilizations. They stand as a bridge between past and present, inspiring awe and admiration for the achievements of the ancient world. The Trojan War myth and reality. The Trojan War, one of the most enduring tales of antiquity, occupies a unique place at the crossroads of mythology. History and archaeology believed to have occurred around the 12th or 13th century BCE during the Late Bronze Age. This legendary conflict is immortalized in Homer's epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey. These works, composed centuries after the events they purport to describe, have shaped the popular imagination, portraying the war as a 10-year siege that pitted the might of Mayan and Greece against the city of Troy. Yet the historical reality of the Trojan War remains a subject of scholarly debate, with tantalizing evidence pointing both to a kernel of truth and to the enduring power of myth-making. The Late Bronze Age was a period of flourishing civilizations across the Aegean Anatolia and the Eastern Mediterranean. The Menian Greeks, whose fortified palaces and warrior culture are reflected in Homer's heroes, dominated mainland Greece, while the Hittite Empire controlled vast estetes of Anatolia. Troy, known as Wusa in Hittite records, occupied a strategic position near the Dardanelles, a critical choke point for trade and military movements. This advantageous location made Troy both a prosperous hub and a target for competing powers. Textual evidence from Hittite archives, including treaties and correspondence, suggests that Troy's rulers navigated complex alliances and rivalries, further situated the city within the geopolitical dynamics of the time. The story of the Trojan War begins with divine intrigue. According to Greek mythology, the war's origins lie in a quarrel among the Olympian gods. During the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, the goddess Ares, uninvited, throws a golden apple inscribed "to the fairest," prompting a competition between Hera Athena and Aphrodite. The Trojan prince Paris is chosen to judge the contest, and he awards the apple to Aphrodite, who promises him the love of Helen. the most beautiful mortal woman and queen of Sparta, Paris's abduction, or seduction of Helen from her husband King Menas, incites outrage and leads to the assembly of a Greek coalition under Menelaus's brother Agamemnon to besiege Troy and reclaim Helen. The war's mythological narrative is replete with larger-than-life characters and dramatic episodes. Achilles, the greatest of the Greek warriors, embodies both heroism and hubris. Hector, Troy's noble defender, stands as a tragic counterpart to Achilles' Odysseus, devises the infamous Trojan horse, enabling the Greeks to infiltrate and destroy Troy. Meanwhile, the gods themselves take sides, intervening in battles and shaping the fates of mortals. The Iliad focuses on a brief but intense period of the war, centering on Achilles' rage and its consequences, while later sources expand on the broader saga, including the war's conclusion and its aftermath. The quest to uncover the historical basis of the Trojan War has captivated archaeologists and historians for centuries. In the late 19th century, German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann identified the site of ancient Troy at Heiser in modern-day Turkey. Schann's excavations revealed multiple layers of settlement, with evidence of a significant city that experienced destruction around 1200 BCE, a date that aligns with the traditional timeline of the Trojan War. Subsequent excavations by Wilhelm Dörfield, Karl Blann, and later researchers have refined our understanding of Troy's stratigraphy, identifying 9 major phases of occupation. Troy Sea, dated to the Late Bronze Age, is often associated with the Trojan War. This layer shows signs of violent destruction, including collapsed walls, burned structures, and scattered artifacts. These findings suggest a city under siege, though the precise cause of its downfall remains uncertain. Some scholars argue that the destruction resulted from war, while others posit natural disasters or internal conflicts. Despite these ambiguities, the archaeological evidence underscores Troy's importance as a fortified city. Regional tensions, the Late Bronze Age was marked by frequent conflicts among the great powers of the Aegean and Near East, the Manian Greeks, Hittites, Egyptians, and others engaged in wars driven by territorial ambition, control of trade routes, and access to resources. The correspondence between the Hittites and their neighbors, preserved in uniform tablets, offers glimpses into these rivalries. Notably, letters referencing Wiusa, Troy, and its rulers suggest that the city was both an ally and a contested prize in the geopolitics of the time. The methods and technologies of Bronze Age warfare provide additional context for the Trojan War chariots. A symbol of elite power, played a prominent role in battle, as did heavily armored infantry siege tactics, including the construction of fortifications and battering rams, were essential for both attackers and defenders. These details align with Homeric descriptions, lending plausibility to the idea that the epics preserve echoes of real military practices. The Trojan War's enduring legacy owes much to the power of mythology and oral tradition. The stories of Achilles, Hector, and Atticus were passed down through generations before being codified in Homer's epics. These tales served as both entertainment and moral instruction, reflecting the values and concerns of ancient Greek society. The emphasis on honor, loyalty, and the consequence of hubris resonates across cultures and eras, contributing to the story's universal appeal. The mythological embellishments also reveal insights into the worldview of the ancient Greeks. The intervention of gods and goddesses underscores the belief in divine influence over human affairs, while the emphasis on heroic deeds highlights the societal importance of individual excellence. At the same time, the portrayal of war's devastation and the suffering of both victors and vanquished add a layer of poignancy that transcends cultural boundaries. The Trojan War's impact extends far beyond its purported historical roots. As one of the foundational myths of Western literature, it has inspired countless works of art, drama, and philosophy. The themes and characters of the Trojan saga have been reinterpreted across centuries, from the tragedies of Aeschylus and Eurydice to Virgil's Aeneid, which frames the war's aftermath as the origin story of Rome. In modern times, the war has been adapted into novels, films, and operas, attesting to its enduring relevance. In historical terms, the Trojan War symbolizes the transition from the Bronze Age to the Iron Age, a period marked by the collapse of major civilizations and the emergence of new cultural paradigms. The fall of Troy, whether historical or symbolic, reflects the fragility of even the most powerful societies and the enduring quest to understand the causes of their decline. The Trojan War occupies a unique place at the intersection of myth and history. While its exact details remain elusive, the evidence of a thriving city at Troy and the geopolitical dynamics of the late Bronze Age suggest that the legend may have roots in real events. Whether viewed as a historical conflict, a poetic masterpiece, or a moral allegory, the Trojan War continues to inspire and challenge our understanding of the ancient world. Its story reminds us of the enduring power of narrative to shape collective memory and connect us to the complexities of human experience. Alexander the Great's empire, the vision of a conqueror. Alexander the Great, born in 356 BCE in Pella, the capital of Mydon, was destined for greatness from the moment of his birth. His father, King Philip II, had transformed Macedon from a minor kingdom into a dominant military and political power in the Greek world. His mother, Olympus, a princess of Iris, ensured that Alexander grew up believing in his divine heritage, claiming that he was descended from Achilles and Zeus himself. This mix of military ambition and divine inspiration shaped Alexander's worldview, instilling in him an unshakable belief in his destiny to achieve greatness as a child. Alexander was tutored by some of the greatest minds of the time, most notably the philosopher Aristotle. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander developed a deep appreciation for Greek culture, philosophy, and science, which would later influence his approach to governance and his desire to spread Hellenic ideals. Beyond intellectual pursuits, Alexander's early years were marked by rigorous physical and military training, preparing him for the life of a warrior and leader. Even as a boy, Alexander demonstrated remarkable courage and skill, famously taming the horsebiles, who would become his companion throughout his campaigns. The assassination of King Philip II in 336 BCE propelled the 20-year-old Alexander to the throne of Macedon. Despite his youth, Alexander quickly consolidated his authority, proving himself a shrewd and decisive ruler. He suppressed internal revolts, eliminated rivals, and reaffirmed Macedon's dominance over the Greek city. States that his rule served as a stark warning to others who might challenge his authority. This brutal but effective approach ensured stability within his realm, allowing Alexander to turn his attention to his father's unfinished ambition, the conquest of the Persian Empire. In 334 BCE, Alexander crossed the Hellespont into Asia Minor, marking the beginning of his campaign against the vast Persian Empire ruled by King Darius III. His army, though smaller than the Persian forces, was highly disciplined and well-equipped, combining the renowned Macedonian phalanx with cavalry and auxiliary units. The Battle of Granicus was his first major victory, a bold and strategically brilliant engagement that opened the gates of Asia Minor to his forces. From there, Alexander moved swiftly liberating Greek cities under Persian control and establishing himself as a champion of Hellenic freedom. The Battle of Issus in 333 BCE was a defining moment in Alexander's campaign, facing a much larger Persian army led by Darius III. Alexander's tactical genius turned the tide in his favor. His victory forced Darius to flee, leaving his family and treasure in Alexander's hands. This triumph not only secured Alexander's position as a formidable military leader, but also demonstrated his capacity for magnanimity. He treated Darius's family with respect and dignity, earning admiration even among his enemies. One of the most challenging episodes of Alexander's campaign was the Siege of Tai, a heavily fortified island city and key naval base of the Persian Empire. The siege lasted 7 months, during which Alexander employed innovative engineering techniques, including the construction of a causeway to connect the island to the mainland. The eventual capture of Tai in 332 BCE showcased Alexander's determination and resourcefulness, solidifying his control over the eastern Mediterranean. Following the fall of Tai, Alexander marched into Egypt, where he was welcomed as a liberator. The Egyptians, who resented Persian rule, hailed Alexander as a pharaoh and divine figure. During his time in Egypt, Alexander founded the city of Alexandria, which would become a cultural and intellectual hub of the Hellenistic world. He also visited the Oracle of Zeus Ammon at Sewa, an event that reinforced his belief in his divine mission and further cemented his authority among his followers. In 331 BCE, Alexander faced Darius III for the final time at the Battle of Gamela near modern-day Iraq. The Persian army, vastly outnumbering Alexander's forces, fielded war elephants and scythed chariots in a bid to crush the Macedonian advance. Undeterred, Alexander's strategic brilliance and the discipline of his troops secured a decisive victory. Darius once again fled, and Alexander claimed the title of King of Asia. This victory marked the collapse of the Persian Empire, with its capitals Babylon, Susa, and Pepolis falling into Alexander's hands at Pepolis. Alexander allowed his soldiers to loot the city as a reward, and the great palace was burned, symbolizing the end of Persian dominance, having conquered the heart of the Persian Empire. Alexander turned his attention to the regions of Central Asia. These campaigns were among the most grueling of his career, as he encountered fierce resistance from local tribes and navigated treacherous terrain. The conquest of Bactria and Sogdiana required relentless effort, including a series of sieges and battles to secure his hold over these regions. Alexander adopted policies of cultural integration, such as marrying Roxana, a Bactrian princess, and encouraging his officers to take local wives. Alexander's campaigns in Central Asia also saw the establishment of new cities, designed to serve as administrative centers and military outposts. These cities facilitated trade and cultural exchange, laying the groundwork for the spread of Hellenist culture across the region. Despite the hardships, Alexander's determination to press forward reflected his ambition to unify the known world under his rule. In 326 BCE, Alexander crossed the Hindu Kush into the Indian subcontinent, seeking to extend his empire to the ends of the earth. His most notable battle in India was the Battle of Hypes, where he faced King Porus and his formidable war elephants. The battle was fiercely contested, but Alexander's tactical ingenuity and the discipline of his troops secured a hard victory. Impressed by Porus's valor, Alexander restored him to power as a subordinate ruler, demonstrating his policy of incorporating local leaders into his administration. However, Alexander's ambitions were ultimately curtailed by the exhaustion of his army. After years of relentless campaigning, his troops refused to march further east. Forcing Alexander to turn back, this decision marked the end of his conquests, though he continued to consolidate his holdings and plan new campaigns during the journey back to Babylon. Alexander's empire, stretching from Greece to India, was one of the largest and most diverse in history. He implemented policies aimed at fostering unity and cultural integration. He adopted elements of Persian administration, including the use of satraps to oversee provinces, while promoting in Hellenistic culture through the establishment of Greek-style cities and institutions. Alexander's policy of encouraging intermarriage between Greeks and local populations was a bold attempt to create a unified elite, blending the traditions of East and West. The cultural exchange facilitated by Alexander's empire had far-reaching effects. Greek art, science, and philosophy spread across Asia, while Eastern traditions influenced Hellenistic culture. The fusion of Greek and local elements created a vibrant and dynamic cultural landscape exemplified by cities like Alexandria in Egypt, which became centers of learning and innovation in 323 BCE. Alexander died in Babylon at the age of 32, under circumstances that remain shrouded in mystery. His sudden death left his empire without a clear successor, as he had failed to designate an heir. The resulting power vacuum plunged his realm into chaos as his generals, known as the Diodi, fought for control. These conflicts, known as the Wars of the Diodi, ultimately led to the fragmentation of Alexander's empire into several Hellenistic kingdoms, including the Quest Empire, the Toa Kingdom in Egypt, and the Antigonid dynasty in Macedon. Despite the collapse of his unified empire, Alexander's legacy endured. The Hellenistic kingdoms preserved and expanded upon his vision, fostering cultural exchange and innovation across the ancient world. His conquests laid the groundwork for the spread of Greek culture and ideas, shaping the development of art, science, and governance for centuries to come. Alexander's life and achievements continue to captivate historians, military strategists, and the general public. His unparalleled military successes, innovative tactics, and visionary leadership have made him a symbol of ambition and greatness. The cities he founded, the legends he inspired, and the cultural transformations he initiated attest to the profound and lasting impact of his empire. Alexander's legacy is not without complexity. While celebrated as a unifier and visionary, his campaigns brought immense suffering, and his methods of conquest often relied on destruction and coercion. Yet his ability to bridge cultures, foster innovation, and spread Hellenistic ideas remains unparalleled. The legacy of Alexander's empire laid the foundations for centuries of cultural exchange, influencing art, science, governance, and philosophy across 3 continents. The enduring fascination with Alexander the Great is rooted in his contradictions. A ruler of extraordinary ambition and tactical brilliance, but also a man who faced the limits of power and mortality. His empire's short-lived unity stands as a testimony to both the possibilities and fragility of human achievement. Alexander's vision to unite the known world under a single rule, though never fully realized, continues to inspire and provoke reflection on leadership legacy and the enduring impact of history. The Punic Wars, Rome's path to Mediterranean dominance. The Punic Wars were a series of 3 devastating conflicts between Rome and Carthage that spanned more than a century, from 264 BCE to 146 BCE. These wars were pivotal in shaping the ancient world, ultimately establishing Rome as the dominant power in the Mediterranean. The term Punic derives from punity, the Latin word for the Carthaginians, who were descendants of the Phoenicians and had established a powerful maritime empire centered on the Mediterranean Sea city of Carthage, located in modern-day Tunisia. The roots of the conflict lay in the rivalry between Rome and Carthage over control of the Western Mediterranean. By the mid-3rd century BCE, Carthage had built a vast trading network that extended from North Africa to Spain and across the islands of the Mediterranean. Rome, meanwhile, was an emerging power on the Italian peninsula, having recently consolidated its control over its neighbors. The expansionist ambitions of both states brought them into direct competition, particularly in Sicily, a fertile island that lay strategically between Italy and North Africa. The First Punic War began in 264 BCE as a dispute over the control of Sicily. The city of Messina had sought Roman intervention against Carthaginian forces, drawing Rome into a conflict that would last over 2 decades. This war marked Rome's first major foray into naval warfare, an arena where Carthage excelled due to its strong maritime tradition. Despite their lack of naval experience, the Romans quickly adapted. They constructed a fleet of warships modeled on captured Carthaginian designs and introduced the corvus, a boarding device that allowed their soldiers to engage in hand-to-hand combat at sea. This innovation neutralized Carthage's advantage in naval tactics, turning sea battles into contests more akin to land combat, where Roman discipline and training excelled. The war's turning point came in 241 BCE, where the Roman navy decisively defeated the Carthaginians. As a result, Carthage sued for peace, agreeing to relinquish control of Sicily and pay a substantial indemnity. This marked Rome's first territorial acquisition outside the Italian peninsula, establishing it as a Mediterranean power. The Second Punic War, often regarded as one of the greatest conflicts of antiquity, arose from renewed tensions between Rome, and Carthage. After the First Punic War, Carthage focused on rebuilding its strength in Spain under the leadership of the Barid family, particularly Hannibal, a brilliant general who became the central figure of the war. The war began in 218 BCE when Hannibal attacked the Roman-aligned city of Saguntum in Spain. Defying Roman warnings, Hannibal then launched his audacious campaign, leading an army including war elephants across the Alps to invade Italy. This daring maneuver caught the Romans off guard and led to a series of stunning Carthaginian victories, including the Battle of Cannae in 216 BCE, where Hannibal's forces annihilated a much larger Roman army, remains a textbook example of tactical genius, with Hannibal's double envelopment strategy still studied in military academies today. Despite his victories, Hannibal faced challenges in maintaining his campaign in Italy. Rome's resilience and ability to draw on its vast manpower reserves allowed it to recover from devastating losses under the leadership of generals like Fabius Maximus, who employed a strategy of attrition and avoidance, and later Scipio Africanus. Rome gradually regained the initiative. The war's decisive moment came at the Battle of Zama in 202 BCE. Scipio, having invaded North Africa, forced Hannibal to return home to defend Carthage. At Zama, Roman forces defeated Hannibal, ending the war. Carthage was forced to surrender its fleet, pay another massive indemnity, and cede control of Spain, reducing it to a regional power and cementing Rome's dominance in the Western Mediterranean. The Third Punic War, though shorter than the previous two, was marked by its brutality and finality. By the mid-2nd century BCE, Carthage had recovered economically, prompting fears in Rome of a resurgence. The influential Roman senator It the Elder famously ended his speeches with the phrase "Carthago denda est," Carthage must be destroyed, encapsulating the growing sentiment for Carthage's complete annihilation. In 149 BCE, Rome declared war on Carthage, citing violations of previous treaties. The conflict quickly escalated into a siege of Carthage, with Roman forces led by Scipio Ammanus, the grandson of Scipio Africanus. The siege lasted 3 years and culminated in the complete destruction of the city. In 146 BC, Carthage's population was decimated, with survivors sold into slavery, and the territory was annexed as the Roman province of Africa. The destruction of Carthage marked the end of the Punic Wars and symbolized Rome's unchallenged dominance in the Mediterranean. The Punic Wars formed Rome from a regional power into a Mediterranean empire. The wars brought vast territorial acquisitions, including Sicily, Sardinia, Corsica, Spain, and North Africa, laying the foundation for Rome's imperial expansion. The conflicts also spurred significant changes within Roman society and governance. The prolonged wars required massive mobilization of resources and manpower, leading to the growth of Rome's professional military and the centralization of authority economically. The influx of wealth from conquered territories fueled Rome's development, but also deepened social inequalities. The rise of large estates, latifundia, worked by enslaved labor, displaced small farmers, contributing to social unrest and setting the stage for later internal conflicts. Culturally, the Punic Wars left a lasting legacy in Roman memory and identity. Carthage became a cautionary tale of hubris and a symbol of the consequences of challenging Rome's might. The wars also influenced Roman attitudes toward foreign policy, emphasizing preemptive action and the elimination of perceived threats. The Punic Wars stand as a testament to Rome's adaptability, resilience, and ambition. They mark the beginning of Rome's transformation into a superpower that would dominate the Mediterranean world for centuries. The wars also highlight the costs of empire, with their scale and intensity leaving indelible scars on both Rome and Carthage. The lessons of the Punic Wars resonate through history, offering insights into the dynamics of power competition and the consequences of prolonged conflict as Rome rose to unparalleled heights. The memory of its struggle against Carthage served as both a source of pride and a reminder of the fragility of even the mightiest states. The Punic Wars remain one of the most significant and dramatic chapters in the history of the ancient world, illustrating the enduring interplay of ambition, strategy, and the quest for dominance. The Battle of Thermopylae, a symbol of courage and defiance. The Battle of Thermopylae BCE is one of history's most enduring and iconic conflicts. It occurred during the Second Persian invasion of Greece, led by King Xerxes Modern I, and has since become a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and defiance against overwhelming odds. This confrontation was part of the larger Greco-Persian Wars, a series of clashes that pitted the relatively small and fragmented Greek city-states against the vast Persian Empire. At stake was not just the independence of Greece, but also the preservation of its culture and political ideals, which contrasted sharply with the autocratic system of Persia. The origins of the Persian aggression lay in the earlier reign of King Darius II. Xerxes' predecessor Darius had sought to expand his empire's influence into the Greek world, but his campaign ended in failure at the Battle of Marathon in 490 BCE, 10 years later. Xerxes assembled an enormous force, reportedly numbering hundreds of thousands, to succeed. Where his father had failed, the sheer size of Xerxes, his army was unprecedented and presented a dire threat to the autonomy of the Greek city-states. In response, a coalition of Greek states formed to resist the invasion, with Sparta and Athens taking prominent roles in leading the defense. Thermopylae, meaning hot gates, was a narrow pass situated between the mountains of central Greece and the Malian Gulf. This natural choke point was an ideal location for the Greeks to stage their defense against the advancing Persian army. The pass's narrowness limited the number of troops that could engage at any given time, negating the numerical superiority of the Persians and allowing the Greek forces to maximize their tactical advantage. Beyond its physical features, Thermopylae held symbolic significance as a gateway to southern Greece. If Xerxes' his forces breached this pass, they would have an open path to the heart of the Greek world, including Athens and Sparta. The choice to defend Thermopylae was thus both strategic and symbolic, embodying the Greek determination to hold their ground at all costs. The Greek contingent at Thermopylae was composed of approximately 7,000 soldiers from various city-states united, under the command of King Leonidas of Sparta. Among these, the 300 Spartans have become legendary, celebrated for their unwavering courage and discipline. However, they were accompanied by warriors from Thespi, Thebes, and other regions whose contributions were equally significant. The Spartan warriors, trained from a young age in the rigorous Agog system, represented the pinnacle of Greek military prowess. Their discipline, physical conditioning, and mastery of phalanx warfare made them formidable opponents even against vastly superior numbers. Meanwhile, the other Greek allies brought their own strengths and regional expertise, underscoring the importance of unity in the face of a common threat. Opposing them was Xerxes, his vast and diverse army drawn from across the Persian Empire's extensive territories. This force included contingents from Persia, Media, Egypt, India, and beyond, reflecting the empire's cosmopolitan nature. Among them were the elite Immortals, a unit renowned for their skill and discipline. Despite their differences in origin and fighting style, these troops were united under Xerxes, his command driven by his ambition to subjugate Greece. Xerxes' army arrived at Therapo in late August or early September of 480 BCE, confident in his overwhelming superiority. Xerxes sent emissaries to demand the Greeks' surrender, promising clemency if they laid down their arms. Leonidas's reply, famously reported as "Mullen la come and take them," epitomized the defiance and resolve of the Greek defenders. The battle began with a series of frontal assaults by the Persian forces, as the Greeks, employing tight flank formations, were able to hold their ground. Exploiting the narrow path to neutralize the Persian numerical advantage, the Spartan lay forces fought with remarkable discipline, using their heavy bronze shields, spears, and superior coordination to repel wave after wave of Persian attacks. Even the Immortals, Xerxes' elite unit, were unable to break through the Greek lines, suffering heavy casualties in the process. The initial days of the battle demonstrated the effectiveness of Greek tactics and the tenacity of their resistance. Xerxes, observing the unexpected resilience of the Greeks, grew increasingly frustrated. His attempts to overwhelm the defenders with sheer numbers proved futile, and the morale of his troops began to waver. And the turning point of the battle came through an act of betrayal. A local Greek named Epiales revealed to Xerxes the existence of a secret mountain path that bypassed the main pass at Thop. This information allowed the Persians to flank the Greek position, threatening to encircle and annihilate the defenders. Upon learning of the betrayal, Leonidas made a crucial decision, recognizing the inevitability of defeat. He dismissed the majority of the Greek forces, allowing them to retreat and regroup for future battles. He and his Thespians and Thebans, who chose to stay, resolved to hold the past to the last man. This act of self-sacrifice was not only a tactical decision to delay the Persian advance, but also a powerful statement of defiance and honor. The final stand of the Greek defenders was a testament to their valor and discipline, surrounded on all sides. They fought with unrelenting ferocity, inflicting significant casualties on the Persian forces. According to tradition, the Spartans made their last stand around the body of Leonidas, who fell early in the final engagement. Despite their eventual annihilation, their resistance became a rallying cry for the Greek cause. Although the Battle of Thermop ended in a Persian victory, its strategic and symbolic significance far outweighed the immediate outcome. The delay caused by the Greek resistance allowed the Greek navy, led by Theistic, to prepare for the decisive Battle of Salamis, where the Persian fleet was defeated. This naval victory crippled Xerxes' ability to supply his army and marked a turning point in the Greco-Persian Wars. The following year, the Greek coalition achieved a final victory at the Battle of Plataea, ending the Persian invasion and securing Greek independence. Thermopylae's legacy has endured through the centuries as a symbol of sacrifice, unity, and the defense of freedom. Herodotus, the father of history, immortalized the battle in his writings, preserving the memory of the Spartans. Heroism for future generations. Monuments and commemorations, including the modern inscription at the site, honor the bravery of Leonidas and his men. The Battle of Thermopylae offers enduring lessons in leadership strategy and resilience. Leonidas's decision to stand and fight, despite the odds, exemplifies the importance of moral courage and the willingness to sacrifice for a greater cause. The unity displayed by the Greek coalition highlights the value of collaboration and mutual support even among rivals. Thermop also underscores the critical role of geography in military strategy. The choice of the narrow pass as a defensive position allowed the Greeks to maximize their strengths and mitigate their weaknesses, demonstrating the importance of terrain in shaping the outcome of battles. Finally, the battle's symbolic power, transcending its immediate tactical significance, illustrate how acts of courage and defiance can inspire generations and shape the course of history. The Battle of Thermopylae remains one of the most celebrated events in history, embodying the ideals of courage, sacrifice, and the defense of freedom against tyranny. While it was a tactical defeat, its broader impact on the Greco-Persian Wars and its place in cultural memory make it a defining moment in the history of Western civilization. The sacrifice of Leonidas and his warriors continues to inspire admiration and serves as a timeless reminder of the enduring human spirit and the power of unity in the face of overwhelming adversity. The fall of Babylon, the end of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. The fall of Babylon in 539 BCE marked a transformative moment in ancient history, signifying not only the end of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, but also the emergence of the Persian Aeonid Empire as a dominant force in the ancient Near East. To fully understand the significance of this event, one must examine the historical context and the rise of Babylon as a center of culture, religion, and power. The Neo-Babylonian Empire, often referred to as the Chaldean Empire, emerged in 626 BCE under King Nabopolassar, whose successfully ousted the Assyrians from Babylonian territory. This victory laid the foundation for a revitalized Babylonian state, which reached its zenith under the reign of Nebas, son Nebuchadnezzar II. Nebuchadnezzar is best known for his ambitious building projects, including the reconstruction of the city's massive walls and the construction of the Ishtar Gate, one of the most stunning architectural achievements of the ancient world. His reign also saw the expansion of Babylonian influence through military campaigns, including the conquest of Jerusalem in 586 BCE, which led to the destruction of Solomon's temple and the exile of the Jewish population. Despite its cultural and architectural achievements, the Neo-Babylonian Empire faced internal challenges. Political instability and economic pressures grew in the years following Nebuchadnezzar's death. In 562 BCE, a series of short-lived rulers, and the controversial reign of Nabonidus, the empire's final king, exacerbated these issues. Nabonidus is devotion to the moon, God's sin, at the expense of Babylon's traditional patron deity, Marduk, alienated the powerful priestly class and the broader populace. These divisions weakened the empire at a critical moment when external threats loomed. The rise of Cyrus the Great and the expansion of the Persian Aed Empire were pivotal in reshaping the ancient world. Born around 600 BCE in the region of Anan, in present-day southwestern Iran, Cyrus demonstrated from an early age. By 550 BCE, he had successfully overthrown the Median Empire, establishing Persian dominance in the region. His subsequent conquests included the wealthy and powerful kingdom of Lydia, as well as numerous smaller states, creating an empire that spanned much of the ancient Near East. Sea's approach to governance set him apart from many other conquerors of the time. He was known for his respect for local customs and religious practices, a policy that earned him the loyalty of many of his subjects. This inclusive strategy not only minimized resistance to his rule, but also laid the groundwork for the administrative efficiency and cultural diversity that characterized the aimed empire. By the time Cyrus turned his attention to Babylon, his reputation as a just and capable leader preceded him, making his campaign as much a diplomatic endeavor as a military one. The campaign against Babylon began in earnest in 539 BC as Cyrus sought to bring the wealthy and strategically vital Neo-Babylonian Empire under Persian control. His forces, led by the capable general Grias, advanced into Babylonia. With minimal resistance, the Babylonian army, demoralized and divided, proved unable to effectively defend key cities along the Euphrates River, including CPR, surrendered without a fight, reflecting widespread dissatisfaction with Nabonidus. His rule, the decisive moment of the campaign, came at the Battle of Opis, where the Persian army decisively defeated the Babylonian forces. This victory effectively neutralized any remaining resistance and cleared the path to Babylon itself. The Persians then employed a combination of military strategy and psychological warfare to secure their final objective. The fall of Babylon is described in various ancient sources, including the Babylonian Chronicle, the Cyrus Cylinder, and the accounts of later historians such as Herodotus. According to these accounts, the conquest of the city was achieved with remarkable ease and minimal violence, a testament to Cyrus's strategic acumen and the internal divisions within Babylon. One popular account suggests that the Persians diverted the Euphrates River, which flowed through Babylon, allowing their forces to enter the city via the dry riverbed. This maneuver caught the Babylonians off guard and enabled the Persians to infiltrate the city's formidable walls. Other accounts emphasize the role of Babylonian factions, who, disillusioned with Nabonidus' leadership, facilitated the Persian entry by opening the city's gates. Upon entering Babylon, Cyrus was careful to portray himself as a liberator rather than a conqueror. He issued proclamations emphasizing his respect for Babylonian traditions and his intention to restore order and religious harmony. The Cyrus Cylinder, often regarded as one of the earliest declarations of human rights, outlines his commitment to rebuilding temples and repatriating displaced peoples, including the Jewish exiles. The fall of Babylon marked the end of the Neo-Babylonian Empire and the beginning of a new era under Persian rule. Under Cyrus, Babylon retained its status as a major administrative and cultural center within the Achaemenid Empire. The city's infrastructure, including its temples and palaces, was preserved and maintained, reflecting Cyrus's policy of integrating conquered territories into his empire rather than exploiting or destroying them for the Jewish population exiled in Babylon. Cyrus's conquer inquest was a moment of profound significance. In 538 BCE, he issued an edict permitting the Jews to return to their homeland and rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, an act that earned him a place of reverence in Jewish history and scripture. This policy of restoration and reconciliation reinforced Cyrus's reputation as a benevolent ruler. The incorporation of Babylon into the Achaemenid Empire also had broader implications for the ancient Near East. The Persian administration introduced a level of political stability and economic integration that facilitated trade and cultural exchange across a vast territory. The blending of Babylonian, Persian, and other traditions created a cosmopolitan environment that influenced art, architecture, and governance for generations. The fall of Babylon remains a pivotal moment in world history, illustrating the dynamics of power leadership and cultural transformation. It marked the transition from a Mesopotamian-centered world to one dominated by the Persian Empire, whose innovative approach to governance set a new standard for imperial rule. The event also serves as a cautionary tale about the fragility of empires, emphasizing the importance of unity, leadership, and public support in maintaining power. Babylon itself continued to be a vital center of culture and learning under Persian rule, ensuring that its legacy endured even as its political autonomy faded. The city's contributions to astronomy, mathematics, and literature influenced subsequent civilizations, leaving an indelible mark on human
Babylon's
history.
fall,
With its
the
blend of
story.
military strategy, political intrigue, and cultural integration, captures the complexity of ancient empires and the enduring impact of their rise and fall. Cyrus the Great's conquest stands as a testament to the transformative power of leadership and the potential for empire building to shape the course of civilization. Ancient surgery, the practice and significance of trepanation. The practice of trepanation, or the surgical removal of a portion of the skull, represents one of the oldest known forms of surgery in human history. Dating back as far as 6,500 BCE, evidence of this procedure has been uncovered in archaeological sites across the globe, from Europe and Africa to the Americas and Asia. Despite its apparent crudeness by modern standards, trepanation was a highly sophisticated medical intervention for its time, offering early humans a means to address severe head injuries, alleviate cranial pressure, or perhaps fulfill ritualistic or spiritual purposes. Trepanation involved the deliberate cutting, scraping, or drilling of the cranial bone to create an opening in the skull. Early tools made from stone, obsidian, or later metal were used with remarkable precision. The survival rates, as evidenced by bone regrowth around trepanation sites, suggest that many individuals lived long after the procedure, indicating a surprising level of medical knowledge and skill. The widespread presence of trepanation in ancient cultures underscores its significance as a universal surgical practice in Europe. Neolithic skulls with trepanation holes have been discovered in regions such as France and Ukraine, often associated with burial sites and other ritual contexts in South America. The Incore and their predecessors were particularly adept at trepanation, with numerous skulls unearthed in Peru, bearing evidence of successful procedures in Africa. Sites in Nubia and Egypt reveal trans skulls dating back thousands of years, reflecting the continuity of this practice in early medical traditions. The reasons for trepanation varied across cultures and contexts. In many cases, it appears to have been performed as a treatment for head injuries, such as fractures or traumatic brain injuries likely sustained in combat, or accidents. Removing a fragment of the skull may have relieved intracranial pressure caused by swelling or bleeding, potentially saving lives. In other instances, trepanation may have been a spiritual or ritual act aimed at releasing evil spirits, believed to cause illness or psychological disturbances. The precise motivations often remain speculative, but the diversity of trepanation practices highlights the interplay between medicine, religion, and culture in ancient societies. The tools and techniques used in trepanation evolved over millennia, reflecting advancements in technology and medical understanding. Early practitioners relied on flint obsidian or bone tools to scrape or cut into the skull. These implements, though rudimentary, were effective in skilled hands, allowing precise control to avoid damaging the underlying brain tissue. By the Bronze Age and Iron Age, metal tools such as chisels and saws became more common, enabling faster and more efficient procedures. Techniques included scraping, where the bone was gradually worn away, drilling, where small holes were created and connected to form a larger opening, and cutting, where sections of the skull were removed in one piece. The choice of technique likely depended on the tools available, the condition being treated, and the skill of the practitioner. The absence of modern anesthetics or antiseptics raises questions about how ancient surgeons managed pain and infection. It is possible that herbal remedies, alcohol, or other natural substances were used to dull pain and reduce the risk of infection. The relatively high survival rate suggests that ancient practitioners had some understanding of wound care and post-operative treatment. Archaeological evidence indicates that many individuals survived trepanation, as evidenced by the presence of bone regrowth around the tranned area. In some cases, multiple trepanations on the same skull suggest that individuals underwent the procedure more than once, highlighting its perceived efficacy and the resilience of ancient patients. Studies of Trajan skulls reveal that survival rates varied by region and time period. In some Andean cultures, survival rates exceeded 80%, suggesting that practitioners had developed highly effective techniques. By contrast, in other regions, survival rates were lower, reflecting differences in skilled tools and medical knowledge. The success of trepanation also sheds light on the social and cultural context of ancient surgery. The care required for patients to recover from such an invasive procedure implies a level of community support and a recognition of the value of medical knowledge. In many societies, practitioners of trepanation likely held a respected position, combining roles as healers, shamans, or spiritual leaders. As both a medical and spiritual practice is evident in its enduring presence in myths, rituals, and folk traditions. In some cultures, trepanation was believed to cure mental illnesses or epilepsy by releasing trapped spirits or demons. This belief persisted in various forms well into the medieval period, influencing early European medical practices in ancient Mesoamerica. Trepanation may have had ceremonial significance, with some skulls displaying elaborate decorations around the trand area, suggesting that the procedure was associated with status or religious roles. Similarly, in the Andes, trepanation was sometimes accompanied by the placement of gold or other materials in the opening, possibly as a form of protection or symbolism. Troni's legacy extends far beyond its ancient origins. It represents humanity's earliest efforts to understand and treat complex medical conditions, laying the groundwork for modern neurosurgery. The practice demonstrates a remarkable level of anatomical knowledge and surgical skill, as well as a willingness to experiment and innovate in the face of life-threatening challenges. Modern medicine continues to be inspired by ancient practices with trepanation, providing valuable insights into the history of surgery and the development of medical tools and techniques. The study of Trajan skulls has also contributed to our understanding of ancient societies, highlighting the interplay between medicine culture and spirituality. Trepanation, as one of the early known surgical practices, stands as a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of ancient humans, whether performed to save lives, alleviate suffering, or fulfill spiritual purposes. This practice reflects the complexity of early medical traditions and their enduring impact on the history of healing. The evidence of successful trepanation across cultures and millennia underscores humanity's shared quest to understand and overcome the challenges of the condition. Pythagoras' theorem, ancient origins, and mathematical legacy. Pythagoras' theorem is one of the most iconic principles in mathematics, stating that in a right-angled triangle, the square of the hypotenuse, the side opposite the right angle, is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, represented algebraically, as this theorem is foundational to geometry and has profoundly influenced fields as diverse as architecture, engineering, physics, and computer science, attributed to the Greek philosopher and mathematician Pythagoras, who lived in the 6th century BCE. The theorem embodies the broader Pythagorean fascination with the harmony of numbers and their relationship to the physical and abstract worlds. Pythagoras and his followers, known as the Pythagoreans, viewed mathematics as a key to understanding the universe's order and symmetry. However, archaeological and historical evidence suggests that the principles underpinning Pythagoras' theorem were understood and applied by ancient civilizations long before Pythagoras formalized it. While Pythagoras is celebrated for his contributions to mathematics, the concepts that underpin his theorem were neither unique to him nor new civilizations across the ancient world demonstrated an understanding of the relationships between the sides of right-angled triangles, using these principles in both practical and theoretical contexts. The ancient Egyptians, renowned for their ingenuity in engineering and land management, applied geometric principles as early as 2000 BCE. The Rhind mathematical papyrus, dated to around 1650, BCE reveals sophisticated geometric calculations, including approximate values of pi and formulas for determining areas and volumes. Evidence suggests that Egyptian surveyors, known as rope stretches, employed ropes with evenly spaced knots to create right angles. This technique was crucial for re-establishing land boundaries after the Nile's annual floods and for constructing monumental structures such as the pyramids. The use of rope geometry demonstrates that the Egyptians had an intuitive grasp of the relationships described by Pythagoras' theorem, while they may not have expressed this understanding in abstract terms or formalized it mathematically. Their practical applications underscore the theorem's foundational role in their architectural and agricultural achievements. The Babylonians, whose mathematical legacy dates back to at least 1800 BCE, exhibited an extraordinary understanding of geometry and algebra. The clay tablet known as Plimpton, 322, discovered in Mesopotamia, contains a table of Pythagorean triples, sets of three integers that satisfy the equation. This artifact provides compelling evidence that the Babylonians could solve problems involving right-angled triangles with remarkable accuracy. Unlike the Egyptians, the Babylonians approached mathematics with a more theoretical perspective. They developed systems for solving quadratic equations and cataloging trigonometric relationships, indicating that their mathematical application. Their work on geometric principles directly influenced later civilizations, including the Greeks in ancient India. Geometric principles akin to Pythagoras' theorem are explicitly referenced in the Sulba Sutras texts dating back to approximately 800 BC. These texts were primarily concerned with constructing altars and other sacred structures for Vedic rituals. They contain detailed instructions for creating precise right angles and proportions, often relying on the relationships between the sides of triangles. The Sulba Sutras demonstrate a sophisticated understanding of geometric relationships and provide explicit formulas for calculating the diagonal of a square and other dimensions. These contributions highlight the theorem's universal appeal and its integration into both practical and spiritual practices. Pythagoras, born around 570 BCE on the island of Es, was deeply influenced by his travels to Egypt and Babylon. These experiences exposed him to the advanced mathematical traditions of these regions, which he later synthesized and formalized in his philosophical teachings. Upon founding a school in Croton, modern-day southern Italy, Pythagoras and his followers transformed mathematics into a systematic and abstract discipline. The Pythagoreans emphasized proof and logical reasoning, elevating mathematics from a tool of practical utility to a means of exploring the universe's underlying order. While there is no direct evidence that Pythagoras himself proved the theorem bearing his name. Later Greek mathematicians such as Euclid provided rigorous proofs that became part of the mathematical canon. Euclid's Elements, but written around 300 BCE, offers multiple proofs of Pythagoras' theorem, ensuring its central place in the history of mathematics. The practical applications of Pythagoras' theorem have made it indispensable across millennia. In ancient times, it guided the construction of temples, irrigation systems, and navigation routes. For example, ancient architects used the theorem to ensure that structures were properly aligned and proportioned. Sailors employed it to calculate distances and chart courses, laying the groundwork for more sophisticated navigational methods. In modern times, the theorem remains foundational in fields such as engineering, physics, and computer science. It underpins algorithms used in data analysis, digital imaging, and machine learning. The theorem's simplicity and universality continue to make it a vital tool for solving complex problems. Pythagoras' theorem exemplifies the interconnectedness of mathematical principles and their applicability across cultures and disciplines. Its history highlights the collective nature of human knowledge, with contributions from diverse civilizations, enriching its development. The theorem also serves as a gateway to exploring other mathematical concepts, such as trigonometry, calculus, and topology. Philosophically, Pythagoras' theorem reflects humanity's enduring quest to understand and impose order on the natural world. The relationships it describes are not only practical, but also deeply symbolic, embodying the harmony and balance that fascinated ancient thinkers. This harmony is evident in the Pythagorean belief that numbers and geometric shapes hold the key to the cosmos, a perspective that has influenced both science and metaphysics. The legacy of Pythagoras' theorem extends. Beyond its mathematical applications, it represents a shared intellectual heritage that transcends time and geography. Connecting ancient civilizations to the present, modern education systems emphasize the theorem as a cornerstone zone of geometry, ensuring that it continues to inspire new generations of learners and innovators. Contemporary mathematicians and historians continue to explore the theorem's origins and implications, uncovering new insights into its role in the evolution of mathematical thought as a testament to the enduring power of inquiry and discovery. Pythagoras' theorem remains a symbol of humanity's capacity to unlock the mysteries of the universe through logic and imagination. Pythagoras' theorem is far more than a mathematical formula. It is a testament to the universality of human curiosity and ingenuity. From its practical applications in ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, to its formalization in Greece and its continued relevance in modern science, the theorem embodies the enduring legacy of mathematical thought. Its history is a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is a shared endeavor, enriched by the cumulative contributions of cultures and generations. The water clock, an ingenious invention of the ancient world. The water clock, or kydra, is one of humanity's earliest timekeeping devices, invented by the Greeks around 325 BCE. This ingenious contraption relied on the steady flow of water to measure time, and was a crucial advancement in the history of horology, enabling societies to regulate daily activities, legal proceedings, and religious practices. While the Greeks are often credited with the invention of the water clock, evidence suggests that similar devices were in use long before 325 BCE in other parts of the world. Ancient Egyptian and Babylonian civilizations employed rudimentary water clocks as early as 1500 BIC Prim, aerially for astronomical and ceremonial purposes. These early kydras were simple, yet effective, consisting of a vessel with a small hole at the bottom through which water would escape at a constant rate. Marking the passage of time, the Greek innovation lay in refining this basic design, introducing features that improved accuracy and versatility. By the 4th century BCE, water clocks had evolved into sophisticated devices that could measure time intervals with remarkable precision, setting the stage for further developments in timekeeping technology at its core. The water clock functioned by regulating the flow of water through a container, either from an inlet or an outlet. The simplest designs consisted of a bowl with a hole at the bottom, allowing water to flow out. Steadily, marks on the inside of the vessel indicated the passage of time as the water level dropped. This type of clepsydra, known as an outflow water clock, was widely used in early applications. The Greeks later developed inflow water clocks, in which water flowed into a container at a consistent rate. These devices often featured graduated markings to measure elapsed time more accurately. Advanced designs incorporated mechanisms to maintain a steady water flow, such as siphons and float valves, which minimized errors caused by fluctuations in water pressure or flow rate. Some water clocks were also equipped with visual or auditory indicators. For instance, they might include figurines that moved as the water level rose, or bells that chime to signal the completion of a time interval. These enhancements made water clocks not only functional, but also aesthetically and culturally significant objects. The water clock played a vital role in various aspects of ancient life in Greek society. Clepsydras were commonly used in legal proceedings to ensure fairness. During trials, Litigants were allocated specific amounts of time to present their arguments with the water clock regulating the duration. This practice underscores the importance of precise timekeeping in maintaining judicial order and equity. In addition to legal contexts, water clocks were employed in religious and ceremonial settings. Temples used them to time rituals, ensuring that prayers, offerings, and other activities adhered to established schedules. Astronomers and scholars also relied on water clocks to track celestial events and conduct scientific experiments, making them indispensable tools for early scientific inquiry beyond their practical applications. Water clocks held symbolic significance. They represented the human desire to measure and control time, a concept deeply intertwined with philosophical and cultural notions of order and harmony. The clepsydra's ability to transform the tangible flow of time into a visible, measurable phenomenon captivated the imagination of ancient thinkers and artisans as water clock technology spread. Beyond Greece, other civilizations adopted and adapted the device, adding their own innovations. The Romans, for instance, incorporated elaborate mechanisms and decorative elements, turning clepsydras into works of art. Some Roman water clocks featured intricate dials and gears, showcasing the sophistication of their engineering in the Islamic Golden Age scholars. And inventors such as Al-Jazari and Ian Alham advanced water clock technology further. They designed highly complex automata-driven clocks that combined hydraulic principles with mechanical ingenuity. These clocks not only measured time, but also served as demonstrations of scientific and artistic excellence in China. Water clocks were integral to the development of astronomical instruments. By the Tang and Song dynasties, Chinese engineers had created water-driven armillary spheres and celestial globes, which relied on kedra mechanisms to track the movements of the stars and planets accurately. Despite its widespread use and cultural significance, the water clock eventually declined in prominence with the advent of more advanced timekeeping technologies. The development of mechanical clocks in medieval Europe provided a more reliable and versatile means of measuring time, rendering clepsydras increasingly obsolete. Nevertheless, the water clock's legacy endures. It represents a critical step in the evolution of timekeeping, bridging the gap between early rudimentary methods and the precise mechanical systems that followed the clip. Hydra's influence can be seen in the design of later timepieces as well as in the continued exploration of hydraulic and fluid-based mechanisms in engineering. In the water clock stands as a testament to human ingenuity and the timeless quest to understand and measure the passage of time. It's of necessity, creativity, and cultural exchange that has driven technological progress throughout history. Today, the water clock serves as both a historical artifact and a symbol of innovation. Museums and historical sites around the world display ancient clepsydras, offering glimpses into the lives and aspirations of the people who created and used them. Modern artists and engineers have even revived the water clock concept, creating contemporary versions that celebrate its enduring appeal by transforming the flow of water into a tangible measure of time. The kedra encapsulates the profound connection between humanity and the natural world. Its legacy reminds us of the importance of ingenuity, adaptation, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge in shaping the course of civilization. Roman roads, the backbone of an empire. Roman roads were one of the most remarkable engineering achievements of the ancient world, forming the backbone of the Roman Empire, spanning over 250,000 miles at its height. Including around 50,000 miles of paved roads, this vast network facilitated communication, trade, and military mobility. The phrase, "all roads lead to Rome," is a testament to the central role these roads played in uniting the far-flung territories of the empire. The construction of Roman roads began in the early days of the Republic and expanded significantly during the empire. Their primary purpose was military, enabling the rapid deployment of Roman legions to defend borders or suppress uprisings. However, these roads also serve civilian needs, fostering trade, cultural exchange, and administrative efficiency by connecting cities, ports, and remote regions. The Roman road network became a symbol of unity and power. Roman roads were renowned for their durability, in meticulous construction, often lasting for centuries. The process of building a Roman road involved several stages, reflecting the Romans' advanced engineering knowledge and attention to detail. Surveyors or agers tools such as the groma and korob baits to plan straight and level routes, even across challenging terrain. The construction typically began with the excavation of a trench, which was then layered with various materials to ensure stability and longevity. These layers included a foundation of large stones for stability, followed by a layer of smaller stones mixed with lime to create a solid base. Then a compacted layer of gravel or sand, often mixed with cement. And finally, the surface layer made of large flat paving stones, fitted tightly together. Roads were often cambered to facilitate drainage, with raised edges or curbs to direct water away from the roadway. Milestones known as milia were placed along the routes to mark distances, often providing information about the road's construction and its benefactor. The Roman road network radiated from the Golden Milestone in the Forum of Rome, symbolizing the empire's centrality. Some of the most notable routes included the Via Appia, constructed in 312 BCE, which connected Rome to the southern city of Capua, and later extended to Brundisium, modern Brindisi, becoming a vital artery for trade and military movements. The Via Ignatia spanned the Balkan Peninsula, linking the Adriatic and Aegean seas and facilitating commerce, while connecting Rome to its eastern provinces. The Via Augusta stretched across Hispania, modern Spain, playing a crucial role in consolidating Roman control over the Iberian Peninsula. The Via Claudia Augusta extended through the Alps, enabling trade and troop movements between Italy and the northern provinces. These roads were strategically designed to integrate conquered territories into the empire, enabling the efficient flow of goods, information, and military forces. Roman roads revolutionized commerce by reducing travel times and ensuring the safe transport of goods. Merchants could move products such as wine, olive oil, grain, and luxury items like silk and spices more efficiently, fostering economic growth and interconnectivity. The road network also facilitated the collection of taxes and the movement of administrators, ensuring the empire's smooth governance. Culturally, Roman roads contributed to the diffusion of ideas, languages, and religions. They enabled the spread of Roman law, architecture, and lifestyle, creating a shared cultural identity across diverse regions. The roads also played a pivotal role in the dissemination of Christianity, allowing missionaries to travel and establish communities throughout the empire. Maintaining such an extensive network required significant resources and organization. Roman roads were overseen by curators and maintained by local municipalities or military personnel. Regular repairs ensured that the roads remained functional. Despite heavy use and natural wear challenges included the rugged terrain, seasonal flooding, and the wear caused by wheel traffic and pack animals. Despite these obstacles, the Romans' commitment to infrastructure ensured that their roads remained operational for centuries. Many Roman roads is a testament to their engineering expertise. The legacy of Roman roads extends far beyond their immediate practical use. Many modern roads and highways follow the routes established by the Romans, reflecting their enduring influence on infrastructure and urban planning. Cities such as London, Paris, and Cologne owe their locations and connectivity to the Roman road network. Roman roads also symbolize the power and reach of the empire, demonstrating how infrastructure can unify and sustain a vast and diverse polity. Their design principles continue to inspire modern engineering, emphasizing durability, efficiency, and adaptability. Our roads were more than just a means of transportation. They were a unifying force that connected an empire spanning 3 continents. Their construction and maintenance reflect the ingenuity and ambition of Roman engineering, while their impact on trade culture and governance underscores their significance in shaping the ancient world as enduring symbols of innovation and connectivity. Roman roads remind us of the importance of infrastructure in building and sustaining civilizations. Their legacy, etched into the landscapes of Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa, continues to inspire admiration and study, bridging the ancient and modern worlds. Please subscribe now if you like this video, and hit like button and drop a beautiful comment below.